So I was supposed to make this movie review like ages ago, but that's neither here nor there. I enjoyed this movie. Now, people have said before in the past that a lot of the stuff that happens in the Jurassic Park movies make absolutely no sense at all. And I agree with them. That's not stopping me from liking it. I know this might sound weird, but if you know anything about me, you know that I like animal movies, like shark movies, like movies. Please don't think I'm a psycho, because I'm not. But I like movies with animals that like attack people. I know that sounds weird. I know that sounds crazy. I'm not crazy. I promise. I promise I'm not crazy. But I like those kind of movies, like Jaws, The Meg. Like they had what was the one? Anaconda. Yeah. There was one with the alligator. I forgot what it was. It was like the big alligator. It was, I just like those kind of movies. There was one with a grizzly bear. It killed everybody. Don't even remember the name. But anyways, this movie was funny, and it did wrap up this last trilogy. And it's kind of sad. I mean, they might make another one like a couple of years from now, but But anyways, this movie was hilarious to me, like all of the rest of them. Like, it was hilarious. But anyway, so it was funny how, they showed you, like, I don't know exactly how many years had passed. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years maybe, because I want to say Maisie was like 9 or 10 when they first met her, but she was like 14 when this movie takes place. So she was at like that really just rebellious, like, oh my God, like, teenager phase. Seeing her as that made me look back on my life and wonder if I was ever like that, and made me want to apologize to my parents if I was. And it was funny. It was funny because, like, Owen and Claire were the parents that I'm sure they always wanted to be, And so it was kind of, I feel like where they were living in like the cozy cabin in the woods is somewhere, well, maybe that was what Owen wanted, but I don't know if Claire saw herself there, but I feel like they felt complete, safe. They were away from, the labs and the experiments on, Nublar and Sorna. Like, it was just, away from all of the craziness that had happened, messing with genetics. Like, it was finally an end to that. And she was going out and she was like, where have you been, young lady? And this is after she came home. I was like, okay, I get what you're saying, but this is after she came home from getting shot at. Because she was at a facility, which she did technically. I feel like what she did was against the law. But anyways, trying to help save, the dinosaurs with the other two from the movie before. And they were like, we can't keep doing this. Like, you about to get us killed. They were shooting at us with real bullets. She was like, well, we just got to keep. And I'm like, y'all do not have bullet immunity, okay? You better stop that. Anyways, but it was good. I was glad that they had the facility shut down, and so they didn't get shot at for no reason. But anyways, I'm like, girl, this is you after you what you were doing. But anyways, she was like, you can't be going past the bridge. And she was like, yes, I can if I want to. I'm sick of being in here with you all the time. I don't know anything about myself and don't know anything about anybody else. I'm always here with you guys. And then she just goes in her room and slams the door. And I'm just like, little girl, they're trying to keep you safe. Like, I get it, but you knew from day one you weren't a normal child, okay? Like, you knew. And after all what happened, you really want to risk getting caught? Like, that's all I'm saying. Like, you really want to risk getting caught? All they had to do was be like, you want to end up in the lab with one of those potato sacks on, getting experimented on, getting poked and prodded? Is that what you want? Like, because that's what I'm telling y'all. Some of these kids just needed a black auntie or grandmother. And this would have been solved real fast. Anyways. So Owen comes back and he was like, what happened? And she was like, she's just mad again. Like, I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was doing this right, but I see I'm failing. He was like, don't worry, I'll talk to her. And I was like, their relationship is very wholesome, okay? very healthy, very non-toxic, very functional. So they were all sitting together, and he was like, listen, Maisie, you can't go past the bridge because you can't risk getting caught. She was like, ugh, like the same response. And I was like, well, at least you try, okay? And then, of course, Blue and Baby Blue, that's what we were all calling her, of course, until she gave her the name Beta, comes around. And she was like, oh, you're Blue's daughter. Like, how cute. And then Blue hops out there and is just like, what are you doing, little human? And then Owen was like, just don't make any sudden movements. Like, don't show any kind of fear. And she was like, I mean, you can trust her, right? Like, you know, she won't attack us, will she? And he was like, you bet your bottom dollar she will. And that's one thing I liked about Owen, man. He was always 100%. Like, he respected animals. Like, he had to go and he had to train them, but he let everybody know these are wild animals. And they're more than just wild animals. These are dinosaurs. They're not even supposed to exist right now, okay? Like, we're not even supposed to be taking up the same space. They will kill you if they have the chance. Like, animals, like a lot of animals, when they see fear, it activates something in them, y'all. Some people don't understand. And with wild animals, like I said, and dinosaurs, like, he kept it 100% real. And I like that about him. Because, you know, they got some people that be like, oh, don't worry. It knows me. It's not going to hurt me. It's still a wild animal, sir, ma'am. But he always kept it real. He was like, no, she will kill you. She will rip your throat out. Like, respect these animals. And so it kind of just like, you know, she was just like, well, since you're Owen's daughter, I won't rip your throat out. You know, like, she knew, basically. You know, this girl's over here feeding the baby dinosaur. Like, I was like, I know it's cute, but come on now. Wherever there's babies, the mother is somewhere around. Anyways, like, it's like, never mind. I was going to say, didn't they teach her that in school? But I forgot she didn't get that luxury. Anyways. So then she's out again past the bridge, and they had like a little construction site, and there was like one of the big dinosaurs. I think it was a brontosaurus. This was one of my favorites because of the long neck. I guess that's what it was. I don't know. Anyways, and she was like, they were like, how do we get it to move? And I'm like, so y'all couldn't think of anything? Like, all y'all standing around, y'all couldn't come up with nothing. Did y'all not exhaust every option? And then this one little girl just like goes, and then they were like, oh, okay. And then they like lit up the little thing, and he was like, you know, waving it. You know, it was a little like, and it was like following them. And I was like, but why did they listen to her? Like, you know, sometimes like adults are like, you're just a child. What are you talking about? Mind the child's business. But they actually listened to her. That's what I admired that. They were like, well, if you think it's going to work. And I was like, well, I'm glad that they listened to her. And then the bad guys show up. You know, there was a guy that was watching them. He was like, oh, I found both of the kids. I found both of the daughters, basically. Meaning Blue's daughter and theirs. Doggone, and that was so messed up how they literally rammed Blue off a cliff. That was messed up. And then took the baby. And then she was going across the bridge, as she had been told multiple times not to. And then they basically blocked her off. And I was like, see, they didn't got you now. You about to be wearing a potato sack, getting poked and prodded. Like, I literally thought that was going to be, like, she was going to be, like, somewhere wearing, like, a hospital gown, like, in a cage. Like, you know, with IVs sticking through her. I don't know why my mind went to that, but I was just really afraid. I guess my mind just jumps to, like, the worst hypothetical when I get worried. Anyways. And it was funny to me because, well, that wasn't funny, but I'm saying what was funny to me about this part was they didn't show you them snatching her off the bike. They just show you him throwing the bike over the bridge. And that's how they showed you that they got her, basically. And that was when Owen had finally found out and caught up to him. And then Blue pops up and was like mad, you know. And he was like, you know, and of course Claire was like, Owen, get out here. And he was like, you know, he brought the gun, which I don't blame him, because listen, if I gotta choose between somebody and I care about and an animal that I raised, trust me, I'm gonna choose me and mine. That Blue would have caught I don't know what kind of gun that was. Blue would have caught around to the head if she would have did anything. I'm like, I'm not the one that took your baby, all right? Now don't catch a bullet now. Anyways, so they get in the car and they take off, and then of course they contact Franklin, and he was like, "Look, y'all are putting my job at risk. I like living, and I like having a safe job." They were like, "Listen, they took her. We just trying to get her back," and he was like, "Okay, so I heard XYZ. Oh yeah, and the French intelligence." And Barry's supposed to be there from the previous previous movies. And then he was like, please don't insert yourselves in the situation and make it worse. They're like, oh, don't worry. We're not going to. And the moment they said that, I knew they were lying to their teeth. Anyway, so they get there and they meet up with Barry. And he was like, look, just let me handle this, okay? And I was like, now, Barry knows better, okay? He knows that they're not going to let him handle this. And then there was that actress. I don't know what her name is. Her eyes were really pretty. She had these like hazel eyes. And I guess she was like moving substances or whatever for people for money. And so she got paid to fly something in her plane. I forgot what it was. Then she sees Maisie and she's just like, are y'all trafficking kids now? Like, I know that I'm not exactly in the best business, but y'all are hitting a new low. And she was like, what's up with the girl? And they were like, we don't pay you to worry about that. She was like, yeah, you're right, you don't. I know how to mind my business. Like, okay. And so she goes and she was sitting. I'm like, these people then made a whole underground dinosaur fighting ring. Like, and see, this is why I'm saying, like, people were like, oh, but it would be great if we could have dinosaurs back. No, it wouldn't. Because all of Jurassic Park would happen, you better believe. People would be getting killed and mauled by dinosaurs. People would be splicing genetics and making all kinds of evil dinosaurs that kill people. Not just that kill people, but to take pleasure in killing people. Like in the previous movie, the Indoraptor was a psychopath. And people would do stuff like this. If they're gone, they need to stay gone. And there's a reason why we don't need them, because humans will make everything bad. That's just the truth. But anyways, they go down there and she sees one person, of course, and she's like, wait a minute, that woman is American. And she meets her in the band and is like, please, I just need you to tell me if you saw my daughter. And she was like, don't come up to me like you know me like that, girl. Like, listen, you will end up missing if you don't act right up in here. She's like, please, I just need some information. She was like, look, I'll let you know something, maybe, I guess. Like, I might have seen her, like, going with somebody. And then all hell broke loose because it was that lady with the little button. She came there and she had those 4 velociraptors that had been trained like the Indoraptor. And I was like, man, I wish that they would have, like, burned that technology up, like when the fire that happened at the building in the last movie. I see it still fell into the hands of some bad people. And doggone it, Barry, I was like, man, I really like Barry and I don't want him to die, but I was afraid he was gonna die like that time when she was like, you're not about to stop us from, like, she was like, we can escape, but y'all not gonna stop us and y'all not gonna get away. And they almost made the transaction, but one of the guys that was working with them was like a spy. I don't think he made it. And then she was like, I got something for y'all. And she was like, open the cages. And they were like, but aren't we supposed to be selling them to somebody? And she was like, open the cages. And they were like, okay, beep. And then they opened the cages, and doggone, they came out of there and they were looking around like they were ready to do some damage. And she took that laser and she pointed it at each of them 4 guys, including Barry. And I was like, they about to kill Barry. I was like, me, those little raptor hands. on the motorcycle and they just all started chasing him. So that didn't make no sense. The scene was cool, but that didn't make no sense at all. And then too with Claire. Claire was fighting that lady and I was like, Beta! And she was trying to escape. And she goes like, she got the little zappy thingy. She zapped her and bam, she flew back, bam. She was for human beings. Don't forget. And the way I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I had tears in my eyes after seeing that. And then she was like, we gotta move, we gotta haul butt. And she went to the plane and then she managed to get the message across real fast, real convenient to and meet us at the runway. And then he was driving that motorcycle and they had the hatch open. She was like, listen, I gotta get this thing kicked up because y'all about to get us 8. And then they took off and he barely made it on time. And then the doggone velociraptor jumps in there with them. And I was like, why can't like slides and knocks the velociraptor off?